Niklsun here, and welcome back to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. This is a show where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. Welcome back, everybody, and I hope everybody out there had a great and happy holiday. I know that I did. I got to spend some time with family and see some old friends and all the usual stuff that everybody does at holidays. But more importantly, I went and saw and got caught up on a lot of great movies that were out there. And so, in keeping with the tradition of this show, let's get into some great movie topics. And so, a couple of things that happened over the Christmas break. There were a couple of announcements, a couple of trailer releases, so we're going to cover some of those, as well as some announcements that are coming out for the next couple of weeks. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, with the first topic today, we're actually going to be talking about the new Entourage trailer that was dropped on, I believe it was either the 23rd or the 24th of December. So, I was a little trepidatious about going into this property, only because, I was still excited about it, but the show really waned in the last couple of seasons. I don't even know if I really watched the entire final season or the most of the last two seasons. It got away from what made it great. It got away from watching this group, just function in the upper echelon of Hollywood stars, which is what got everybody attracted to the show. It really focused too much on Vince's drug addiction, and it just really lost its stride. And so I was a little trepidatious going into this property, but after seeing this trailer, it looks like everybody's back in the swing. Everybody is perfect in their roles, especially Jeremy Piven as Ari. He looks like he hasn't lost a beat at all. Just a lot of things about this trailer just really excited me about the movie. And I've been seeing a lot of comments out there about this trailer and about how it looks stupid and all that. And while that's fine to have that opinion, expand upon it. What is it about the trailer you found stupid? It's a trailer for the movie version of Entourage, which was a television show. This trailer really sells the movie version of that TV show. If you weren't a fan of the TV show, then that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. But I want to know, I want further elaboration on why people hate on certain things. It's almost, and I've talked about this over the past month or so, about how it, to me, almost seems like it's now the duty of a film fan to bash everything that comes out. I don't understand it. I don't understand how we cannot just sit back and enjoy what is there. Now, that being said, everybody out there is well aware of my disdain for how they're handling the Ghostbusters remake, and how I'm still not fully on board with it, only because Paul Feig is taking a very narrow viewpoint on the movie. And I'm not talking about it only including women. That's not what I mean. My point that I'm trying to make here is he only wants to use female characters. Not a mixture, not if the story makes sense to include all female characters. He is forcing the film to include female characters and having everything written around that. And if that doesn't work, well, that's going to hurt the inclusion of all female casts in movies later on. I mean, that's why we had a couple of superhero films that came out in the mid-2000s. We had Aeon Flux, we had Elektra, and both of those movies, like, a lot of people will say, well, yeah, those movies were the ones that destroyed it. Well, it wasn't just those movies. It was because those movies were terrible. They didn't put any stock into them. They didn't actually try to, well, I mean, I'm assuming that they at least attempted to make them good, but there was nothing about them that was very good. They just looked haphazard. They looked lazy. Nothing about them was very good. And it hurt female-led films for a while, especially action films. Now, we've been starting to see some actresses come out nowadays that would be able to handle a female-led, franchise. And we've seen, the likes of Emily Blunt. We've seen, obviously, Scarlett Johansson. And the list can go on and on and on. But I have a feeling that pigeonholing this idea, and I know I'm getting off topic here, but pigeonholing this idea just to me is the wrong idea. If you write the movie and the characters and the nuances about the characters end up meaning that you you should cast a female, or that the sensibilities of that character work really well with this specific actor or actress, then that's when you go to get those people to see if they can bring that true form to life and to see if you can get the best version out of that. But never just pigeonhole yourself. So that's just one of my issues with that topic. But getting back to the Entourage trailer, I still don't understand why people are hating on this, because I found it did a really good job of selling the movie, and I know I've already stated that, but I mean, there's certain things about this trailer that I thought really worked well. You have Ari is now obviously from the end of the show. He's the head of a new studio. Apparently, the stipulations for this were that he offered, or Vince wanted to direct his first big budget movie, and Ari agreed with him and said, "You can do this as long as you keep the budget at this." The budget went over. And so now Billy Bob Thornton, who in this movie is playing a character who I believe, based on the trailer, is bankrolling Ari's studio, because he looks like he's this rich, industrialist guy. And he's got Haley Joel Osment from The Sixth Sense as I think it's his son in the movie. But I found it worked really well. The music worked really well. The cameos worked really well, especially that Mark Wahlberg cameo at the very end. I thought that was a great tie-in to the show, because Mark Wahlberg always kept popping up. I think he only did it a couple of times, but I mean, the TV show was an unofficial look at how Mark Wahlberg was, and it was his kind of viewpoint from when he first came to Hollywood. And to me, it works. I like it. The movie's going to be opening up on June 5th. I'd love to know what you guys thought about this trailer, because I personally, it worked for me. I thought everything about it worked. Like I said, the music, the entire opening sequence, which was the fake movie within this universe, which I love when they do that, especially, like the opening clip or that one clip in Aquaman before the power outage. Certain segments, like you had that little bit of Queens Boulevard in the first couple of seasons as well. I just love it when you see stuff like this. Like, my personal favorite types of films are movies that are set within the Hollywood industry and are revolving around that. Like I love Bowfinger. Anybody out there who has not seen Bowfinger, that's a great movie with Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. That's just a great film, because it just goes to show about filmmaking, and I love that aspect of it. I love watching movies that are like that. And this looks like it could be a whole heck of a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think about it. Put a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the movie, whether or not you think the trailer makes it look good, whether or not you're excited about the movie, or if you think it's going to bomb. So let me know in the comment section. The movie's going to be opening up on June 5th. If we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. Just days after Deadline revealed the short list of directors that Paramount was looking at for Star Trek III, it was announced that Justin Lin would in fact be directing the upcoming third installment of the franchise. Now, when I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, I said that out of the two choices, Rupert Wyatt and Justin Lin were the two finalists that Paramount was looking for. And it was because they both have experience in high-octane franchises. Justin Lin more high-octane, but Rupert Wyatt really had a good handle on character development within a large-budget franchise film. And so I thought that with dealing with what Star Trek really is, and especially what the original series it was more character-based than it was action-based. They've kind of reversed that a little bit with the new movies, but they still have a lot of character development in there. And I felt that out of the two, not only because of the character development in a sci-fi film, which he already had experience with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Justin Lin at the time was still rumored to be connected to a multi-arc finale for the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, whether or not that still ends up being true, I don't think it will be, because I think with him doing this film now, once he's finished this, he will then siege into the Bourne Legacy sequel if that film is still going ahead. Because remember, he was set to direct the Bourne Legacy sequel starring Jeremy Renner. That movie has since been pushed because Paul Greengrass has returned to direct Matt Damon in a new Bourne film, which will be, I'm assuming it's going to be starting production at some point in 2015. Probably releasing at some point in 2016 or early 2017. So out of the two, I would have preferred Lin, just because, again, what J.J. Abrams has already set up with this universe is high-octane action within a really cool universe. And I don't use cool as, like the slang. I mean, it's very interesting. There's a lot of dynamics to this universe, and there's a lot more to explore, especially with how Into Darkness ended, because it ended where the original show started. It started with them going off on their 5-year journey, or yeah, I think it was a 5-year journey into deep space. And that has a lot of possibilities. I know that Paramount themselves have stated they want the Klingons to be the main villains in the third film. Roberto Orci, who was originally lined up to write and direct the movie, is no longer directing it, and he is now no longer writing the movie. He is only staying on as a producer, which means his original script that he was working on is being thrown out. Now, that means most likely, unless they're saving something from it, they are doing a page 1 rewrite, which means they need to have this script done they're going to need to have it done by the end of March, because they're going to need to start filming, unless they have the proper outline and they know locations that they're going to need to build sets for. If they get that outline within the next month, then they should be okay, and they can push the script finale date to, say, maybe the end of April, maybe sometime in May, because they're going to need to start filming at some point in either May or June at the very latest. Like I said on the episode a couple of weeks ago, they're going to need between at least 9 and 12 months of post-production work, if not longer, on this film, because of the amount of special effects and the quality and the textures of them, everything about them is going to be photorealistic. And so they are really going to need to take a while to do this, which means filming needs to start at some point in either May or June. They're aiming for, they already set a release date of July 8th, and I even said they're going to be aiming for a July release date. July 8th, 2016 is the officially set release date for this movie. This, to me, the only thing that I am scared of is now they are only releasing this movie in 2016 to tie into the 50th anniversary. And they are to be damned about the quality of the movie. Because remember what happened with Star Trek Into Darkness. Now, Paramount originally wanted the movie to go into production right away, the sequel. And J.J. Abrams said no, because we don't have a story yet for it. We don't know where exactly we want to take it. So he went and did Super 8, and then came back and directed it and gave himself time to develop the story. Take from that what you will, because of the quality of the movie. I personally enjoyed Star Trek Into Darkness. I enjoyed their new take on Khan. You know, I enjoyed a lot of aspects of the film. The one thing I hated about it was the mystery box, because everybody knew it was Khan. Everybody knew that that's who he was playing. And when the reveal came in halfway through, it was like, I even remember in the IMAX theater I was in there with my brother, and you could just hear a groan throughout the theater. It was just like, oh. Because the way the scene was set up was as though nobody knew what was coming. And everybody knew what was coming. It was like watching the end of The Sixth Sense for the third time. You know, I mean, it's not a surprise. And as long as they don't do that with this film, which I don't think they will, because J.J. Abrams is only going to be on as a producer. He's not going to be as secretive with this film, I think, as he has been in the past. He's been even more forthcoming with Star Wars. So, you know, the main question that comes into play right now is if the script is going to be up to par. Who they're going to get to write it, because there's still no word yet on if the original writers with Roberto Orci are staying on board. It was just announced that Roberto Orci is not attached. There's no word if the other guys are still on board yet. If the script is good, Justin Lin will deliver an action-packed, powerhouse Star Trek movie. I have no doubt about that. He is a very talented filmmaker. The only thing that I'm worried about, and I don't know if I'm as worried about it with this franchise as I am with some other ones, but Justin Lin, to me personally, does not have his own unique visual style. His movies don't have the look of a Justin Lin movie. You can't say it's a Justin Lin movie because there's no visual aesthetic to it that is unique, that is separate, that is, you know how if you look at a David Fincher movie, you can tell from any frame, from any scene, that it's a David Fincher film. Steven Spielberg, you can usually always tell that it's a Steven Spielberg movie. Michael Bay, say what you will about the director, but he has a unique visual style. That being said, I do think that Justin Lin could adapt some of the visual style that the movies have already had, because he will need to keep in that. He will need to keep that continuity. And as long as he steers with that as his, as his main direction for the movie, then I think we've got a good hit. I think we've got a good movie on our hands. The main question, like I've said, is going to be the script. And if they can get that right, then I think we're in for a good movie. The movie's going to be opening up on July 8th, 2016. So far, they've been making really good choices. All the original cast is coming back. We still have no word yet on who the villains are going to be, although I know that Paramount has said in the past they want the Klingons to be the main villain, because the Klingons were the main villain in the original TV show. So having that come in and having that dynamic really be pressed harder than it was, because they planted those seeds in Into Darkness. You know, we went to Kronos, you know, they showed the Klingons for that one scene, and, you know, it almost planted the seeds for war between the Federation and the Klingon Empire. And if that is the case, then this is going to be a big movie. And I'm really excited for it. And I think Justin Lin can definitely handle the action sequences. I think we're going to be in for some unique action sequences as well. So I'm really excited for it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, whether or not you think this is a good choice, who you would have liked to have seen differently. I said before that I thought the Wachowskis, given the right script, would be an amazing choice. If they don't write it, because they're not good at writing anymore, but they have amazing visual style. And if they could adapt that, we're going to get a good taste of that next month when we see Jupiter Ascending. Because again, I don't think that movie is going to be very good. I am so looking forward to it, don't get me wrong. But just the little snippets of dialogue that I've heard, especially that dog sequence, it has me worried about the dialogue and about how the storyline's actually going to unfold. But visually speaking, it has everything I've ever wanted to see in an epic, hard sci-fi movie. You know, I mean, it just, everything about it just looks so cool. And I would have loved to have seen that kind of vision go into a Star Trek universe and really see them let loose. But sadly, we're not going to get that. We're going to get Justin Lin, who I think is a very capable director and a very good action creator. So I think we're in for a really good treat. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below if you think this is a good fit. Until we get more information about this topic, I will update you guys on here. This next topic here came kind of out of left field. I hadn't heard too much about this project. There were some interesting aspects of it, but to me, I don't know, maybe it was just because it's Sam Jackson and he's kind of like Morgan Freeman where he'll just choose any role, but there was something about it that was kind of just clicking in the back of my head that thought this could be interesting. Well, now we have a new trailer for the movie, which really does showcase that this movie is going to be something I think pretty unique. The movie's called Big Game. And it stars Samuel L. Jackson as the President of the United States, who, while on board Air Force One flying over somewhere in Europe, I believe it's Finland, his plane comes under attack. And he is put into his escape pod and is ejected out of the plane. And then the plane ends up going down, crashing, and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, there is kind of a Finnish rite of passage that is happening between a father and his son, or a family and their youngest son, who is now going out, and he has to, I don't know if he has to hunt on his own, or he has to do something on his own to prove that he's a man. Like, it's a rite of passage for him. And while he's out on this little, quest or adventure where I believe he has to go and hunt like a big animal or a bear or something like that, and he has to kill it himself with a bow and arrow. And he's like 12. It's something along those lines. I know I'm probably incorrect there, but it's something along those lines. Anyway, he ends up finding the president's escape pod. And, through the two of them, they need to now help each other survive, not only the elements in the wilderness, but on top of that, these unknown forces who are still pursuing the president of the United States. Now, I gotta say, I was really surprised at how action-packed this movie looks. Like, it looks big budget. It looks really fun. It looks almost, what's the word I'm looking for? It just looks almost insane. Like, it looks like Fast and Furious level action sequences. So it looks over the top, but the filmmakers look like they're embracing that. And I'm getting the same sense that I got from John Wick. Like, you watch the trailer for John Wick and even the movie. The movie's great if you haven't watched it yet. But it's a movie that on its own normally wouldn't be very good. But with the filmmakers embracing the type of movie that it was, knowing the fact that it's not realistic and really just having fun with it, it brings a new element, a new feeling to the movie, and you get this different sense of it. Now, this is probably going to be a very bad movie, but the visual style of it is just really, really cool. I mean, you got the one sequence where the kid's running off to the end of the cliff, and he jumps off the cliff as he's about to grab a hold of that container. Very Fast and Furious style action sequence. And then you've got, Ray Stevenson in a helicopter, hovering over top of where the guys are running through the snow, and he's firing a machine gun at them, Like, just the action sequences look really, really cool and unique, and a lot of stuff that I think they're going to take to the next level. I don't think it's going to be a lot of stuff we've seen before. It's from a European film agency. It's from a European filmmaker. Part of the movie is actually going to be in Finnish. It just looks unique and cool, and I'm actually kind of excited for it now. I'm really surprised at this. The movie so far does not even have a North American release date. It is scheduled to open up March 25th in some UK venues. I think it's only going to be in Finland and the surrounding areas, but yeah, I mean, I'm really intrigued by this. It's really snuck up on me, and let me know what you guys think. In the description of this video below, you can find a link to the trailer if you haven't watched it yet. But it just is really kind of cool, and I'm interested in this movie. I want to know what you guys think about it, because for a lot of films, I'm one of the suckers that gets sold on the trailers. I really am, because to me, one of the most fascinating parts of filmmaking is the creation of the trailer. The trailer, to me, is one of the most important parts of the movie, because it's what gets people into the seats. It gets people to go and see your film. So crafting a trailer is one of the most important aspects of the filmmaking process. All of them together. I mean, if one part fails, the rest of it fails. But to me, it's it's one of the most crucial parts to get right. Because again, it's what sells the movie to your audience. You can have a great movie with a terrible trailer, i.e. Edge of Tomorrow, and nobody will go and see it. But it was a great movie. The only thing, in my personal opinion, that failed on that film was the marketing campaign. And that's why the movie didn't make as much money as it should have. So having a really good trailer can really sell the movie. But as long as it either doesn't give too much away, is not manipulative, or just doesn't, or gets a point across that is not the actual film. Like, there are several trailers out there that I've watched that have been completely misleading. One of them, ironically, was Foxcatcher. Because in Foxcatcher, there's the one shot in the trailer where he goes, "Tell me what you want to do, Mark." And Channing Tatum sits there and he goes, "I want to be the best in the world." And it cuts back to to Steve Carell and he goes, "Good." Like, just, it's chilling. The way that it's edited and the way that it's done, it's chilling. But the scene doesn't play out like that at all. Like, it's a completely different part of the conversation that they cut that reaction from. And to me, that when I was watching the movie itself is a very good film. It's very, very slow. Very slow. But I found that those little parts in the trailer, like the part where he walks into the room and he goes, hey, he's holding the gun, and he goes, "Mark," and he just waves him over. That part is completely different in terms of the context of how it works in the movie. When you watch the film, it's completely different than how it was shown in the trailer. And to me, I don't like it when films are manipulative like that, because you're not getting Amazing Spider-Man 2. There were so many scenes in the trailers that were not in the movie that showed plot points that were very interesting, but yet were never even touched on in the film. And I hate when we're misled by that. This film doesn't look like they're misleading us at all. It looks like it's going to be fun. Looks like it's going to be action-packed. I'm on board with it, but again, it's Samuel L. Jackson, and there is a risk when dealing with Samuel L. Jackson because he does appear in almost everything. But this year, he's got, he's got Kingsman: The Secret Service, he's got Avengers: Age of Ultron, he's got Big Game, and I think there's another, Hateful Eight. He's got Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight coming out this year as well, so he's got a pretty packed year. So I hope that this can continue the trend of what will most likely be great performances in great movies, because everything I've been hearing about Kingsman is that it's just amazing. It's just an incredible movie, so definitely check that out when it comes out next month. But Big Game, as it stands right now, is not set for any release in North America yet, but it will most likely appear at some point in, I'm assuming probably September, we'll see it come out. Either September or October, we'll probably see it come out here in North America. But when we do get more information about this, I will definitely update you guys on here. With our last topic today, this is just going to be a quick little update on some upcoming movie trailers that are going to be debuting within the next couple of weeks. First off, we're getting our first trailer, which is going to be just under 2 minutes, for AntMan tomorrow night. That's Tuesday, January the 6th, during the premiere of Agent Carter. So it's a 2-hour premiere that's going to be shown on ABC. I believe it's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow on January the 6th, and that will be giving us our first trailer for AntMan. So I will be covering that on Wednesday's episode. So don't you? I will definitely give you my breakdown of the trailer, my viewpoint on it, how I think that Peyton Reed has really handled the movie. The little snippet that we've already got, I thought that was a great marketing ploy that they did. For those of you who don't know, you know how studios have been doing the teasers or the trailer for the trailer. It's like a little 15-second clip for a trailer that's coming out in a couple of days. Well, Marvel did the same thing with Ant-Man. But they did it a little differently, and they gave us an ant-sized version of the teaser trailer. So if this was the screen, for those of you who didn't see it, if this was the screen, that would have been the size of the image on the screen. It would have been black all around it, and just that little tiny block of image. They ended up releasing it yesterday or the day before in what they called human-sized. But I thought it was a great little ploy. It got a lot of attention, and it really showed that Marvel knows how to market their films. They really have a grasp on their audience and their content that they're putting out, and knowing exactly how to bring it out to people. And that's what I love about it. And so I'm really curious to see what they're going for with this trailer. I'm excited for it. So yeah, definitely check that out tomorrow night during the premiere of Agent Carter. It'll be debuting sometime between the hours of 8 and 10 Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that. The next trailer announcement that we have is there is a new trailer for Avengers Age of Ultron that will be debuting next Monday, January the 12th at, I believe it's 8:30 p.m. during the college football game. So it's going to be a new trailer. I don't know. I think this is going to be... I'm going to say this is going to be a little bit more of an action-oriented trailer. I think this is also going to be showing us some characters we haven't seen yet. I really do think we're going to get a first official look at Vision in this trailer, although they may be saving him for the final trailer. There's been a lot of artwork and a lot of stuff that's come out about Vision in the last couple of weeks. So I wonder if they are gearing up to give us our first look at the Vision, which I'm really excited for. I can't wait to see what their version of it's going to look like in full photorealistic form with his powers, because the one image showed him phasing through a wall. And I hope that he's able to keep that power, because they did say that they are, same with Ultron, they are reducing his powers a little bit. They didn't say which ones. They didn't say which ones he was keeping or which ones he was getting rid of. But it looks as though he will keep his phase form, which I cannot be happier about, because that he can change his density. He could go into a fight and change his density so that nothing can penetrate him. Nothing. Like, not even a diamond blade that is 0.000001 millimeters thick, but that is the strongest material on Earth. They wouldn't be able to penetrate him. But he can also phase through stuff. He can demolecularize himself so that he can go in between particles. I mean, I know it's getting nerdy, but that to me is just so cool. And we haven't really seen that, especially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm really excited to see what new footage we're going to be getting. That'll be debuting next Monday, January 12th at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And finally, we have our first confirmed Super Bowl spot, and there will be a new trailer, whether it be 30 seconds or a minute. We're still not sure yet. We haven't been announced, or they haven't talked about that yet. But we will be getting a new trailer for Jurassic World during the Super Bowl. My hope is that it is not a condensed version of the trailer we've already seen, and I don't think that Universal is going to be dumb enough to do something like that. We will be getting new footage. What the new footage consists of is going to be a new story. I don't know. I don't think they're going to debut what the new dinosaur looks like. At least my hope is that they don't. I don't want to see that yet. I want to see little glimpses of it, and then show us in the final film. Like, when we actually see the movie, show us then. This isn't like Godzilla, where they kept hiding him and hiding him and hiding him from the trailer. And we found out why when we saw the movie. He wasn't really in the film all that much. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case with Jurassic World. I think it's going to be, he's going to get about the same amount of screen time as the original T-Rex did in the first Jurassic Park. But one thing that really has me excited about it, Colin Trevorrow, the director of the movie, has confirmed that there will be a hybrid dinosaur versus T-Rex fight in the movie. And I could not be happier. Because it's the original T-Rex. It's the one from the first movie. It's the one that's got the scars all down him from fighting the velociraptors. Like, on top of that, Chris Pratt having a band of raptors that are maybe not necessarily loyal to him, but just don't perceive him as prey or a threat, and so they work with him. This movie is just sounding so cool, and I cannot wait to see more footage. I can't wait to see the film when it comes out in June. But the first confirmed Super Bowl ad for February 3rd, it's either the 2nd or the 3rd, I believe, is Jurassic World. So when we do get more information about what trailers will be debuting on the Super Bowl, I will definitely update you guys on here. That'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Why don't you go ahead and click the subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And go ahead and give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. On every Friday episode, we try to answer as many questions as we can. So if you do have a comment or a topic or question you'd like to have talked about on this show, go ahead and put a comment in the comment section, or you can email us at movienewswithnicholson@gmail.com. We'll try to get to as many as we can on every Friday. So without any further ado, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.